Good evening and welcome to DETV News, your trusted news source. I'm Matt Ford. We begin with news about an investigation of a fire that heavily damaged a home in Newcastle that claimed the lives of two elderly women this weekend. The blaze reported early Saturday morning on Onway Place in the Garfield Park neighborhood. The Minquadale Fire Company arrived on the scene where flames were seen shooting from the one-story home and two people were trapped inside. Firefighters rescued the occupants from the burning house and the victims were taken to Christiana Hospital in critical condition. This morning it was announced that the two women, aged 90 and 72, did succumb to their injuries over the weekend. The fire is still under investigation. In the state of Delaware, there have been a total of 14 fire-related deaths compared to 10 in 2021. Moving on, the President and First Lady were back home this weekend to celebrate the commissioning of the USS Delaware. The USS Delaware, or SSN 791, is a Virginia-class first attack nuclear submarine and is the first Navy ship to be named for the state since 1923, as well as the seventh vessel to be named overall. In a commemorative ceremony by representatives of the First State and Navy leaders at the Port of Wilmington, Senator Carper delivered a keynote address to mark the commissioning, followed by remarks by President Biden and the sponsor of the ship, First Lady Dr. Jill Biden.
This latest ship to carry the USS Delaware is part of a long tradition of serving our nation proudly and strengthening our nation's security of the United States of America. Not just us, but our allies and partners around the world as well.
This vessel will always uphold the First State's motto of liberty and independence. Today marks the beginning of an incredible journey, the ship's long and faithful service to our country. We may not know what's to come, but we do know this: the challenges will be met with honor, distinction, and valor of the 125 sailors who serve on her decks.
And speaking of official news, for the first time, DETV News is bringing you a segment to your screen that covers important issues from Capitol Hill to international news. DETV's own Kerwin Gaines presents the National Minute. Tonight, Kerwin brings us this week's national headlines, including the latest on President Biden's Supreme Court nomination, the war in Ukraine, and the latest on what we're seeing affecting prices at the pump.
This week on the National Minute, we'll discuss news from Capitol Hill, gas prices, the Russian-Ukraine conflict, and the Supreme Court. I'm Kerwin Gaines for DETV News. If you're beginning to see the recent rise in gas prices, I'm here to tell you what you can expect should the conflict in Ukraine fail to reach resolve. Back in February, the national average price of gas has risen to $3.57 per gallon, and experts were unfortunately right, as they had predicted it would soon top $4. Now, as we head into April, the national price of gas is currently at $4.23 per gallon, according to AAA, with predictions that the U.S. could see prices rise even higher to $5. Some states like California are already seeing a whopping cost of $6 per gallon. In international news, talks of peace between Russia and the Ukraine may be in the works, which could significantly decrease the price of oil. As Alexander Fomin, Russia's deputy defense minister, mentioned, they would potentially be significantly reducing the military activity around Kiev and Chernihiv. Though many are hopeful for a peaceful outcome to the current conflict, Pentagon spokesman John Kirby detailed that they've only seen a small number of Russian military begin to move away from Kiev and warned that others should pay close attention for a major offensive against other areas of the Ukraine. Alongside other NATO allies, the U.S. imposed sanctions against Russia in efforts to prevent steep inflation of oil and natural gas supplies. In President Biden's plan to reduce the high energy prices, the United States will release 1 million of additional barrels of oil per day from the nation's strategic oil reserve for the next 6 months. This will be the largest release of oil from the U.S. reserve that we have seen in history. This action should drive down gas prices across the country. In coordination with President Biden, other allies are expected to release barrels from their reserves as well to keep the nation afloat as the war in the Ukraine continues. This dependency on oil has proven to be a problem financially as well as environmentally. Congress will have to pass the president's plan in order to ultimately achieve energy independence. Down from the White House, the Senate Judiciary Committee is also preparing for the major vote on President Biden's Supreme Court nominee, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. Recently, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina decided to oppose and vote against Judge Jackson, which is shocking to many, as he previously supported her judicial nomination. Senator Graham does not agree with Judge Jackson's methodologies in sentencing and feels that Judge Jackson will not use her best judgment in accordance with the law. His position makes the potential outcome an even split. The committee is set to vote on the nomination today. Locally, President Biden's nomination of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson for the United States Supreme Court has made Delaware citizens eager for Governor Carney to echo the president's decision and appoint possibly the second person of color to the Delaware Chancery Court. In 2015, Judge Tamika Montgomery Reeves presided for 5 years in the Chancery Court and then went on to become the first African-American justice on the Delaware Supreme Court in 2020. A vacancy left by Vice Chancellor Slights is the third opportunity for Governor Carney to implement more diversity among the leadership in the Delaware courts. For more on the agenda, join me, Kerwin Gaines, each Friday night right here at 6:30 on DETV. Have a great week.
Well, we're coming off a great weekend weather-wise, but Shakira, I hear there may be some trouble spots brewing this week. What's going on?
Yes, definitely trouble. I am so ready for warm weather, but let's get into the weather for this week for Newcastle County. Tomorrow it'll be a warmer day with a high of 57 degrees, but the sky won't look as nice as it'll be a cloudy day with the chance of rain during the day and a potential for heavy rainfall in the evening. Now on Wednesday, it'll look pretty similar to Tuesday with a high of 59 degrees, but with an 80% chance of rain during the day and occasional showers later at night. So total rainfall. And then on Thursday, we'll be having a thunderstorm with rain and gusty winds. The high will be 56 degrees during the day, but hopefully the storm will clear up by nightfall. So it's definitely not the nice spring weather that I was hoping for, but hopefully it'll clear up this weekend, Matt, and just in time for Palm Sunday. So I'm totally looking forward to that.
Palm Sunday already. You believe that? It's
I can.
flying by.
With spring weather. Let's bring it on.
Right, we'll take it. Shakira, thank you so much. Well, the pandemic has halted the world in more ways than one, and for most of the last 2 years, buildings of worship have remained closed due to the risks associated with meeting in person. But starting at the beginning of this month, all congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses are returning to in-person meetings. Jehovah's Witnesses in the U.S. suspended their public ministry on March 20th of 2020. Since then, they have practiced worship virtually. In Delaware, there are a total of 37 JW congregations. The Central Mandarin Chinese Wilmington congregation was just one of the churches that went back to in-person worship yesterday.
Walking back into the Kingdom Hall today for the first time in over 2 years, it's indescribable.
We're always looking for comeback, and we did it. We come back.
This Easter season, a church in Delaware provided Easter hope to those experiencing homelessness and food insecurity in the community. The Journey Church teamed up with local restaurants and businesses to bring hot meals to many families at the Red Roof Inn on South College Avenue in Newark. Hot meals were provided by local Chick-fil-A and Cecil County, Maryland's landmark Baker's restaurant as part of the church's outreach to the community. Hope totes containing non-perishable food items, snack, and other essential travel items were also provided to guests at the hotel. In other news, it's a special year for students, alum, and the founders of the Kayumba Academy Charter School in Wilmington as they prepare to celebrate their 20th anniversary. Founded by the Christina Arts Center in 2001, the Academy's charter members host a discussion to go back down memory lane and reflect on past challenges and to talk about their plans for the school in the near future.
This is a first of its kind conversation with founders of Kayumba Academy. We started more than 20 years ago because it started in 1997 with the application to even be considered to open a charter school. So this is a conversation, a long overdue conversation, storytelling and truth-telling.
Kayumba Academy serves students in grades K through 5 and is the longest serving academy charter school in Delaware. The 20th anniversary gala for the school will be held on April 8th at the Waterfall in Claymont. The gala will feature live music, awards, and a surprise performance. In other news, the Delaware Train Show and April Fool's Toy Show was back in full effect this weekend. Train lovers from all over gathered at North Shrine Center in Newcastle to see which show featured over 150 tables of trains, accessories, slot cars, toys for all to see, and unique dealers traveled from up and down the coast to see as the train show continues to get bigger and bigger every year. And Nick Alessandrini is here with us in studio to give us the latest on sports. Now, Nick, I believe we made some history last week. Is that right?
Well, Matt, you're absolutely right. History was made at William Penn on Thursday as junior Brandon Grigo threw the first perfect game in William Penn baseball and Newcastle history dating all the way back to 1908. Grigo, an All-State honorable mention last season, threw 64 pitches through 7 full innings, striking out 7 and not giving up a run in the 6-0 win over Wilmington Charter. Here's how it looked on Thursday. More news in high school sports as St. Mark's junior Danielle McGonigal jumped 17.9 at the New Balance Indoor Nationals. She beat her existing record by 9 inches and is ranked as one of the top 20 jumpers in Delaware history. She also jumped 37.2 in the triple jump and holds the number 6 jump in state history for that as well. Some amazing accomplishments for Danielle McGonigal. To college sports now, as the University of Delaware has found its next women's head basketball coach, as Sarah Jenkins has come back home to Newark. Jenkins, a former associate head coach at Delaware, was named the 5th women's basketball head coach in the program's illustrious history, announced Sunday. Jenkins owns 8 years of Division I coaching experience and most recently spent the past year serving as an assistant coach at Penn State. Jenkins is no stranger to the Blue Hen family as she has spent 4 seasons on the coaching staff. She held the title of assistant coach and recruiting coordinator from 17 to 20 before being elevated to associate head coach and recruiting coordinator during the 2021 season. You can check out Coach Jenkins' introductory press conference tomorrow at the Bob Carpenter Center Club at 11 a.m. To the G League now, as our Delaware Bluecoats have clinched a home playoff game tomorrow night at the Chase Fieldhouse. The 3rd-seeded Bluecoats will welcome the 6th-seeded Long Island Nets to Wilmington tomorrow in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals at 8 p.m. Tickets are just $12, so come out and support tomorrow night at the Fieldhouse. And if you can't make it to Wilmington, you can catch the game live at 8 p.m. on ESPN2. The Bluecoats, they already won that showcase in Vegas earlier in the season, going to try to double up here with a nice playoff run. And tonight is the night. North Carolina and Kansas will go at it for a chance to be called national champions down in New Orleans. Armando Bacot will play following that ankle injury against Duke, and Kansas, North Carolina will tip off at 9:20 p.m. Eastern on TBS. And now it's time for the top plays of the week. A special shout out to all our fan submissions and Delaware Live Sports. Let's get this thing started with 4 of the top plays from this past week. Here we go, getting us started at number 4. We've got 2 softball plays coming for you from St. Mark's and Padua. First, it's going to be Riley Thomas, able to charge, make the play there. She records the out for the Spartans. What a year she's having so far here in the spring. And then Sophia Mazzola, check out this double play, trying to lay down the bunt. She's going to come charging in, make the catch, and then get the runner at third. A double play for Sophia Mazzola and Padua, and then Riley Thomas getting us started from St. Mark's at number 4. Now we're going to head to play number 3, and we're going to stick with the baseball, softball action here, and we're going to head down to Milford. It's Mason Morris. He's got a man on, and he's going to take this one. Oppo Taco. Here's the pitch, and he's going to rip it. You're going to see all the way out the right field fence. Opposite field for Mason Morris. A big home run for the Milford Buccaneers as he will trot lightly around second base. He's going to round them all. A big home run that time for Mason Morris of the Milford Buccaneers. And we've got 2 more great plays for you coming at you right now. Let's head over to play number 2. And this time we're going to head to the lacrosse field for the first time this season. And Rowan Nuri from Salesianum. We're going to give you 2 looks at this one. That's how nice it is. Here he comes, going to thread the needle, get it past the goalie. Then what a shot he takes at the end of this play. You're going to see it again here in a little bit of a slower motion. Nuri, coming off that state title with Sally's last year, able to find the back of the net and take the shot as that one goes through. And that's going to take us to our top play of the week. You already heard his name once so far this evening. That's Brandon Grigo from William Penn. Yeah, he made history with that perfect game, the first since 1908, but here he's going to do it in the batter's box. The lefty absolutely smokes this one to right center field. No fence, doesn't matter. That one rolls into the woods as Brandon Grigo rounds the bases. A grand slam for Brandon Grigo as our top play of the week this week. So that'll do it for sports this week. I'll tell you, Matt, Brandon Grigo, he's been playing well lately.
Quite a weekend for Grigo from William Penn there. Well, speaking of students doing big things, dreams really do come true, at least for a 6th grade student at Gunning Bedford Middle School. Tiana Shermans was picked to, get this, be a red carpet correspondent at the upcoming Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards this upcoming Saturday. Tiana has been a bona fide child reporter since the 3rd grade and was the youngest member of the Philadelphia chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists. She has also her own YouTube channel and has been featured right here on DETV. Tiana, we're wishing you good luck. If you want to check it out, the show airs Saturday night at 7:30 on Nickelodeon. And finally tonight, the funeral arrangements have been announced for Dr. Terrence Newton Sr., beloved community leader and Warner Elementary School principal. The public viewing will be held Tuesday evening at Izion Fair Baptist Church, and his farewell service will be held at the Chase Center on the riverfront on Wednesday, April 6th at 11 a.m. Dr. Newton was a true leader in our community whose legacy will surely be remembered. Well, that's going to do it for this week's News Brief. I'm Matt Ford. Be sure to check out DETV all across your favorite social media platform. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.